The Art of Dealing with People. The Art of Dealing with People, Chapter 3. The Importance of Making Others Feel Important. Everyone is a millionaire in human relations. The great tragedy is that too many of us hoard our wealth, dole it out slightly, or don't even realize we possess it. It is within your power to add to the feelings of personal worth of others. It is within your power to make them like themselves better. It is within your power to make them feel appreciated and accepted. The quickest way to improve your dealings with people is to begin giving away this wealth you possess. It doesn't cost you anything and you needn't fear you'll ever run out of it. Don't try to barter or bargain with it. Don't try to use it to bribe people into giving you what you want. Give it away indiscriminately. In doing so, you need not worry about getting what you want from others. When you cast this bread upon the waters, so to speak, it always comes back to you multiplied manyfold. Don't make the mistakes of supposing that just because someone is successful or famous that they have no need for a feeling of importance. Courtesy, politeness, and manners are all based on this universal hunger of people to feel that they have some personal worth. Courtesy and politeness are merely ways in which we acknowledge the importance of other person. All of us need to feel that we are important. We need to feel that other people recognize and acknowledge our importance. Actually, what we need is for other people to help us feel important, to help us confirm our sense of personal worth. To a large extent, our feelings about ourselves are reflections of the feelings other people seems to have about us. No one can maintain their dignity and worth if everyone he meets treat him as if he were worthless. This explains why little things that are apparently unimportant actions can have such tremendous consequences in the field of human relations. Have you ever heard the reasons people give for asking for a divorce? He got a big kick out telling everyone how stupid I was about money. Or she would make an issue out of feeling that the cat before she fed me when she was cooking. They seem like small things, but when repeated, they tell the other person, this proves I don't think that you are very important. Remember, it takes only one small spark to set off an explosion, and the little things you do and say can set off a chain reaction. You must recognize the other person. In their diplomatic dealings with other countries, governments speak of recognizing another country or according them recognition. We might take a lesson from this in our diplomatic relations with others. The principal causes of dissatisfaction among employees are: number 1, failure to give credit for suggestions; number 2, failure to correct grievances; number 3, failure to encourage; number 4, criticizing employees in front of others; number 5, failure to ask employees their opinions; number 6, failure to inform employees of their progress. Number 7, favoritism. Note that every item has to do with failure to recognize the importance of the employee. 4 ways to make others feel important are: number 1, think other people are important. The first rule and the easiest to apply is to simply convince yourself once and for all the other people are important. Do this and your attitude comes across to others even when you are not trying. Moreover, it takes away the need for gimmicks and puts your human relations on a sincere basis. You can't make others feel important in your presence if you secretly feel that they are nobodies. After all, what else on earth is as important or as interesting as people? Number 2, notice people. Have you ever thought about the fact that you notice only those things that are important to you? Actually, you only see a fraction of what is around you. You select for attention only those things that are important. 5 people walking down the same street will probably note 5 different things simply because they are interested in different things. Therefore, when someone notices us, they pay us a big compliment. They are saying that they recognize our importance and give a big boost to our morale. We become more friendly, more cooperative, and actually work harder. And don't forget that when you are dealing with a group, try to acknowledge everyone in the group. Number third, don't compete with people. This requires some discipline as you are a human and you have the same need to feel important that everyone else does. You must watch yourself that this does not backfire on you. The basic fact is that everyone needs to feel important and to feel that others recognize his importance. This trait of human nature is in itself neutral. You can use it to your own advantage or disadvantage, just as you can use a knife to butter your bread or cut your throat. The temptation is always present when we are dealing with others to impress upon them our own importance. Consciously or unconsciously, we want to make a good impression. If someone tells us of some great feat he performed, we at once think of something that was even greater. If someone tells us a good story, right away we think of one that could top it. Often we are so anxious to impress others with our own importance that we can make him feel small so that we will appear larger. There is one simple rule that will help you get over this handicap. If you want to make a good impression on others, the most effective way is to let them know that you are impressed by them. Let them know that they impress you and they will judge you one of the smartest, most personable individuals they have met. Compete with them and they will be firmly convinced that you are a fool who doesn't know his way around. Number 4, know when to correct others. Usually, when we correct or contradict others, it is not for the purpose of settling any real problems. It is usually to increase our feeling of importance at the expense of others. Ask yourself, does it make any real difference whether they are right or wrong? Don't try to win all the little battles. If nothing is involved except the other person's ego, why bother? The negative impact you create far outweighs the small victory for your own ego. Chapter 4, Controlling the Actions and Attitude of Others. Remember Sweganli, the mesmerist who controlled the actions and behavior of people by a mysterious power? It may surprise you that each of us in our way is something of a Sweganli. We are not mesmerists, but we do exercise control over people. The only trouble is that we do not know that we are exercising this power and we often use it against ourselves rather than for ourselves. Each of us is constantly influencing and controlling the actions and attitude of those with whom we can come in contact. The choice we have is, shall we use it for good or evil, for our benefit or our disadvantage? It may surprise you to learn that in many of the cases in which you were treated discourteously, where someone acts unreasonably towards you, that you may have asked for that treatment, you have to adopt the attitude you want others to express. People react and respond in a like manner to the attitude and action expressed by others. You get amazing results when you start putting this theory into effect. Everyone wants to do the appropriate thing. We act out our parts in life according to the stage that is set before us. There is an unconscious urge to live up to the opinions others seems to have of us or to live down to them. In dealing with others, we see our own attitude reflected back to us in their behavior. It is as though we were standing before a mirror. When we smile, the person in the mirror smiles. When we frown, they frown. And when we shout, they shout back. Knowing this, you can control others' emotions to an amazing degree. When you find yourself in an explosive situation that seems likely to get out of hand at any moment, lower the tone of your voice and keep it soft. This will literally force others to keep their voices soft also. They can't become angry and emotional as long as they keep their voice pitched in a soft tone. If you wait until the other person becomes angry, it won't work. But you can turn the anger away before it arrives by using this technique. Enthusiasm is catching. Enthusiasm is more catching than a cold, and so are the indifference and lack of enthusiasm. You can never sell anything to anyone until you are sold on it to yourself. Confidence breeds confidence. Just as you can make others enthusiastic with your enthusiasm, you can give people confidence in you by acting confidently. It is a sad but true fact that many of the mediocre ability get further than those who have outstanding talents because they know how to act confidently. All the great leaders have known this. For example, Napoleon went out boldly to meet the French army when they were sent out to get him after his first exile. By acting with supreme confidence, as if he expected the army to take commands from him, the soldiers marched back behind him. John D. Rockefeller used the same technique. When a creditor suggested that he would like to have his bill paid, Rockefeller would reach for his checkbook with a flourish. Which would you rather have? He would ask, cash or Standard Oil stock? He appeared so calm and confident that nearly all opted for the stock and none ever regretted it. If you believe in yourself and act as if you believe in yourself, others will believe in you. Put some magnetism in your personality. Confidence has a way of showing itself in subtle ways. While we may have never analyzed why we have confidence in a certain person, subconsciously we all judge others by these little signs or clues. Number one, watch your walk. Your physical actions express your mental attitude. If you see someone walking with drooped shoulders, you think their burdens are too heavy to bear. They seem to be carrying the heavy weight of discouragement and despair. If something is weighing down someone's spirit, it invariably weighs down their body and they droop. See someone walking with head and eyes down, and you are looking at a pessimistic soul. A timid person walks with unsure, hesitant steps as if they are afraid to let go. A confident person steps out boldly. Their shoulders are back, their eyes are looking out and up to a goal they feel certain that they can attain. Number two, your tattletale handshake tells the other person far more than you suspect about the way you feel about yourself. A person with a limp, dish rag handshake is low on self confidence. The bone crusher is apt to be compensating for a lack of self esteem. The firm handshake with just a little squeeze in it says, I have got a firm grasp of things, and denotes self confidence. Number three, Number third, moderate your tone of voice. We express ourselves through our voices more than in any other manner. The voice is the most highly developed means of communication. Your voice communicates more than ideas. It also betrays your feelings about yourself. Listen to your voice. Does it express hopelessness or courage? Have you gotten into the habit of winning? Do you speak up confidently or mumble? Number 4. Use the magic switch of a smile. A real sincere smile turns on a friendly feeling in others. Don't try to smile as a facial expression, but smile from within. Everyone is blessed with a good smile. It's just a matter of letting it out. If you're not using your smile, you're like someone with $1 million in the bank and no checkbook. The only way to make people do better is to follow the advice of Winston Churchill. I have found that the best way to get another to acquire virtue is to impute it to them. Let others know what you think they can be trusted, and they will be trustworthy. People who try to make others improve by shaming, threatening, or advising on what they ought to do rarely succeed, and often they make matters worse. No one is totally good or bad. We all have different sides to our personalities. The side that we present is the side that others bring out best in us. Use communication and psychology to bring out a good and generous side in others. Begin today to develop an enthusiastic, confident attitude and manner. Speak out, watch your posture, hold your head up, walk with a confident step as though you have somewhere important to go.